What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 here today, bringing you the yearly top 5 players at each position for the 2016 NFL Draft Class. Today we'll be starting with the quarterbacks, and my top 5 is a little different than a lot of consensus top 5s, but through this I'll give you a couple things, tidbits about them. I'm not really going to go so much into their stats this year, but I'm going to look more into, at least, how they're going to translate in the pro game. So looking at number 5, we're going Christian Hackenberg, the quarterback out of Penn State. He had a lot of hype coming out, how many years? Must have been 2 back-to-back years where he was considered like a preseason Heisman favorite. Never really got it going there in Penn State. Didn't really have the supporting cast around him, but he's really solid. There's nothing really amazing about him. He has a nice arm, good pro size. But I don't know. I compare him to a Brian Hoyer. Nothing flashy. I think he'll come in and be a backup for a couple years. May get, by the time his rookie contract expires, a honest shout to start. Kind of like a A.J. McCarron, maybe, if you want to consider him back on the Cincinnati Bengals roster. But I don't really see much of a starter there. Number 4, I'm going Connor Cook, the quarterback out of Michigan State. Lots of questions over him, but he's a proven winner, won a lot of games. And I'm comparing him to a guy that's a fictional player, and that is Bo Callahan. If you ever seen the movie Draft Day, which essentially is it Kevin Spacey, I think? Someone, he plays the GM of the Browns. Supposed to get a quarterback under a lot of pressure from the owner to draft a quarterback. Big quarterback is Bo Callahan. They find out none of his teammates really like him. He was never a captain. A lot of red flags. His talent's there. And I see that with Connor Cook. It's been pretty well publicized in the media that not a lot of people like him. And the fact that he was never a captain, being a 4-year starter, or a 3-year, I think he started after Kirk Cousins left, and won that many games, you're never a captain. There's a lot of red flag issues there. So be very concerned about that. Number 3, I'm going Carson Wentz, the quarterback out of North Dakota State. Everything about him screams he's going to be sick, but I have to put him at 3 because he has that FCS competition. He never played against the top athletes, and I think there will be, at the very least, he might have the best intangible tools, but at the very least, a learning curve, because it's going to be a steep jump. Like throwing, he didn't have breathtaking stats. I mean, he is a solid quarterback, but he didn't have breathtaking stats even in the second division of college football. Throwing against some scrub there, and then going to throw against Richard Sherman or Darrelle Revis, massive. You can't even. That's an astronomical jump in talent. So I think he's not going to be day one starter, but these top 3 quarterbacks I think someday will make viable starting quarterbacks in this league. Don't see any superstar player, but you don't need to be a superstar player. You just need a viable quarterback. Number 2, I'm going Jared Goff, the quarterback out of Cal. Good decision making. Decision-making. Good decision-making, question mark. Everything looked pretty good on paper. He has the intangibles there, good size, big arm. But the decision-making, he had that one really big primetime game, Cal's first big primetime game. He threw 5 picks. I mean, is he going to crumble under pressure? Does he have the mindset to be a franchise quarterback? I think right now, Goff is the number 1 pro-ready quarterback coming out of college, and I compare him to Tony Romo. But I just think the decision-making there, much like Tony Romo, the decision-making might not be there. It could be, not as bad as a Taj Boyd, I think a couple years ago from Clemson, but the questions are there. But I definitely would say it's pretty safe to say he's the most pro-ready day one. He's probably the most likelihood to be a guy that's get drafted and start it right away. But my number 1 quarterback is going to be Paxton Lynch, the quarterback from Memphis. He's a great athlete. He has an absolute cannon of an arm. My pro comparison to him is Joe Flacco, pretty much based on his background coming from a smaller school and his giant arm. Paxton Lynch is a much more athletic player than Joe Flacco. Maybe he doesn't have the accuracy that he does. I've seen a couple college football tapes of Paxton Lynch. It's not all great. I still think when all is said and done, because he has a much higher athletic ceiling than Jared Goff and a much bigger frame, 6'7". He's not a Brock Osweiler 6'7". He is he's more of a Cam Newton 6'7". He uses all 6'7" of that to be able to move and be mobile out of the pocket. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs the fastest 40 time for quarterbacks. Legit quarterbacks, none of these fucking dual threat ones that it doesn't matter. But I'll put Paxton Lynch. Like I said, I think Goff is the more pro-ready, but I think Lynch, because of his higher ceiling, I have to put him at number 1. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 quarterbacks from the 2016 draft class. Let me know in the comment section below who you think are the top 5, who you want your team to draft if you're in the market for a quarterback. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, as we're going to be doing running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, sleepers, offensive linemen, fucking linebacker, safety, all that shit. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Till next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.